start this presentation off with a 1-minute clip of Emma Watson's 13-minute long speech. In just 1 minute, Emma Watson references 100 years worth of fighting for women's rights and what she believes can help solve this problem. While analyzing the speech, I've gained a lot of knowledge regarding women's rights. On September 20th, 2014, Emma Watson gave an empowering speech about bringing and gaining awareness on women's rights and the current state of feminism, human rights, and equal rights during that time. Do I just click on it?
It's not a touch screen.
It's a computer.
Oh, I see.
This is the first campaign of its kind at the UN. We want to try and galvanise as many men and boys as possible to be advocates for change. And we don't just want to talk about it. We want to try and make sure that it's tangible. I was appointed as Goodwill Ambassador for UN Women 6 months ago. And the more I've spoken about feminism, the more I have realised that fighting for women's rights has too often become synonymous with man-hating. I know for certain it is that this has to stop. For the record, feminism, by definition, is the belief that men and women should have equal rights and opportunities. It is the theory of the political, economic, and social equality of the sexes. This is the first campaign of its kind at the UN.
When and where did the speech take place? Like stated before, it took place on September 20th in 2014. It was given at the headquarters of the United Nations located in New York City, New York. And like Emma stated, she was appointed as Women's Goodwill Ambassador, which is the reason that it took place at the headquarters of the United Nations. In 1978, the United Nations was established, and ever since then, it was known for maintaining international peace and security. Who is Emma Watson? Emma Watson was born April 15th, 1990. She's an actor, activist, and an artist. She's most known for her role as Hermione Granger in the Harry Potter movie series, and in one of the Harry Potter movies called Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, Emma Watson won a reward for Best Leading Young Actress, which she was 11 when she took that role in that film, which I think goes to show that Emma Watson used her leadership skills to pursue the things that she was most passionate about, like gender equality. The significance to history. So we've seen women fight for women's rights for 100 years, and they fought for things like the right to vote, equality in workplace, birth control, abortion, and violence against women. And women themselves have fought to make those changes, as America was founded 248 years ago, meaning women have only had rights for 103 of those years. Significance to today. We see things resurface like the fight to end violence against women, access to educational opportunities, and promoting women's leadership, which is why I have the example of Taylor Swift's music video, as I think she does a good representation of more women in today's society being in power, and people tend to question just how they got to that level of success. The purpose of Emma Watson's speech, she stated at the beginning of her speech that she wants to give a formal invite to the men and boys of society to participate in the conversation of women's rights, because she believes that in order to achieve gender equality, there needs to be the goal of destroying stereotypes towards men. Ethos, pathos, and logos. Emma Watson uses ethos in her introduction by acknowledging that she's been appointed as the UN Women Goodwill Ambassador, and this establishes credibility and trustworthiness to speak towards this topic. She then uses logos by reciting the definition of feminism. She does this as the word has been misinterpreted by many for many, many years, so she kind of recites the true definition of it. She then uses pathos by sharing her own personal experiences to bring the audience in to partake in her frustration and anger towards the gender pay gap issue. Some rhetorical devices. She uses allusion by stating that Hillary Clinton made a famous speech about women's rights, but sadly, some of those changes that she touched on are still resurfacing till that day. And I think she does this as an example to portray the fact that many women, not only Hillary Clinton, have spoke on gender equality, yet many gender inequality cases continue to resurface. She then uses anaphora by restating win at 14, win at 15, and win at 18. And this goes to show that Emma herself has experienced gender inequality since a very young age, not only in her friends that were girls, but also in her friends that were guys. She then uses hypophora by asking the question, how can we affect change in the world when only half of it is invited or feels welcome to participate in the conversation? Emma asks this question to the audience to accentuate her main point. Gender equality can't happen unless every gender is willing to stand up to make that change happen. Why will it endure? I think that many women, like Emma Watson, have fought for women's rights for over 100 years, but until women can confidently say that they feel equal in today's society and in the future, this speech will always be endured. Thank you for listening to my speech.